overtime. Everything was motorized, but now I'm up and more alive. So let my family know I'm fine and it's a new day. Cause there's a whole lot I gotta say. So I'ma tell the world that I'm on the way. I promise when we're back we gon' celebrate. Yeah, baby, save the day. So raise your glass to them better days. Cause they're coming. I know I'm gone and it's getting late, but I'll be there, baby, save the day. Cooped up, I ain't left my place in a few months. I'm going back to basics like a crew cut. Feeling used up, but now I'm grouped done. Grinding till I make a few bucks. Somebody do some, ayy. Yeah, I've been depressed, yeah, I've been a mess, but I guess you gotta hit your worst to make it to your best. And I still have my rainy days, I doubt those ever fade away. But I've been seeing color instead of all those other shades of gray, and I just had to find myself. I know life is great and I just needed to remind myself. Yeah, I remember that a flower don't stay in bloom all year long. So one bad day don't make it all go wrong. Opportunity knocks while I just hold the door. I know that I just gotta focus more, and I can finally see that heaven I've been going towards, with angels singing praises through these vocal cords. They wanted me to tell the world that I'm on the way. I promise when we're back we gon' celebrate. Yeah, baby, save the day. So raise your glass to them better days. Cause they're coming. I know I'm gone and it's getting late, but I'll be there, baby, save the day. This my soul in a vessel, through this whole instrumental. Every dough from the pencil, I'm a voice, not an echo. Yeah, this my wants and my fire, this my constant desire. This the sound of overcoming all those doubts in my mind. And it'll be worth it, it won't be perfect, but I'll have plaques and I'll have purpose. I'll have love and I'll have family, I'll have friends that understand me. I'll have a wife and the kids on a life for the rent, even though life getting shorter. One day I'll have it all, just not in that order. Tell the world that I'm on the way. I promise when we're back we gon' celebrate. Save the day. So raise your glass to them better days. Cause they're coming. I know I'm gone and it's getting late, but I'll be there, baby, save the day.
She gave everything, she was such a blessing, but from day to day, she would change her ways. Give me her love, then she'd take it away, take it away, take it away. Just like the reaper, thought she was the one for me, turned out she was the sleeper. Sleeping on me, in this game of love, I was too blind to see, it'll never be enough. So good is never good enough for her, she won't stay for long while she's bringing you down, but she'll suck you right in with what she's doing. You'll want her somehow in her final bow, like an elevator, elevator. She'll take you up and bring it down, down, down. She's like an elevator, elevator. She'll take you up and bring it down, down, just like an elevator. Just like an elevator, elevator. She'll take you up and bring it down, down, down. She's like an elevator, elevator. She'll take you up and bring it down, down. Just like an elevator. Take it from me, I've learned my lesson. She gave everything, she was such a blessing. But from day to day, she would change her ways. Give me her love, then she'd take it away.
I don't want my head to keep spinning. Blown through a maze, into my eye, your seductive ways. Throw me in a loop I can't escape. Round and around, flying sky high, hand in hand. I feel you tug me down into your deepest place. Between us, through the masquerade, all the steps we're taking lead us on these escapades. I won't give you my heart, 'cause only time will tell. If you're destructive ending, push me down to hell. Caught in a pause, battle defy what was lost in the separation of my inner head. Break up of my sweetened feelings, can't foresee my timely killing. I don't want my head to keep spinning. I don't want my head to keep spinning. Deem your patience to keep filling all the words that I am spitting. But I don't want my head to keep spinning. I don't want my head to keep spinning. And I will give you my heart. Inside I wish you well. But if you turn between us, through the masquerade, all the steps we're taking lead us on these escapades. I won't give you my heart, 'cause only time will tell. If you're destructive ending, push me down to hell. I don't want my head to keep spinning. I don't want my head to keep spinning. I don't want my head to keep spinning. I don't want my head to keep spinning, 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 spinning,
Hi friends! I'm back. I feel like it's been forever. It's been a busy week. Oh my goodness. Good timing. Oh yes, great timing. Perfect timing. I figured I have extra time tonight, so I'm going to stream because I haven't had time to do that a lot this week. Having a new job makes that hard because I'm out of the house. And, the school's getting like, oh, Ben just finished. Nice. That was fun. I've played with some of them on some of those rounds. That was fun. I like the job game we played. I'd never played that before, and it was really fun to like do that and take everybody's words. Although I do have to say, like, Ben and Boltreon definitely have the same mindset when it comes to like the different words they put on there. Yeah, I was there. I actually won one of the job ones, which was, I just had to learn. It was a quick learning curve to figure out what people thought was funny, and then I just figured it out, and it worked out because I won one of the jobs we played, so that was fun. Yeah, it's been a busy week. Whoa, hell fries and Pepsi. Hi, tons. It's been a crazy week. Like, the school's getting, like, crazy busy because everybody's been sick, and, like, there's still, like, corona stuff going around, so I had to, like, go into work early this week every day, and then they ended up canceling school on Friday, so I didn't have to work on Friday, but then I had the kids all day, so I was doing other stuff. So it's been a crazy week to just deal with everything happening, and they're talking about closing the schools down again, which is just like, but we'll see what happens. But good thing is, if they close down the schools, I won't lose my job. I just won't be able to go to it until they open the schools back up. So, anyways, today I'm celebrating my 1-year anniversary on YouTube. If anybody missed my stream earlier today, I did a stream with Jake the Atheist on his channel, because we found out that we both started Pop-Tart Jesus. Yay! Jake and I found out that we both started YouTube on the same day last year. So we decided we were gonna celebrate today, and so we did like a Q&A together to just talk about our first year on YouTube, and, you know, the things we've learned and the things that, you know, he wants to do in the future and I want to do in the future. And yeah, so if you guys didn't see that video, it's on YouTube. It's on Jake the Atheist channel. 25% of students of my girls' school were no-show. Yeah, they're having a huge problem with, like, teachers being out and not enough subs. Like, they said some of the schools around here are getting so desperate, like, they're trying to get, like, support staff just to basically babysit the kids because there's no teacher to watch them. Or they have to put, like, 2 classes into one classroom because they don't have enough teachers to go around. So it's been a crazy week. But I mean, I got extra hours at work, which was nice, and I got an extra day off of work, which was nice too. But yeah, it's crazy. I don't know what's gonna happen. I think keeping the schools open right now is not great, but I can't do anything about that. Like, I just go to work and do my job and come home, and if they shut down, then I'll have to stay home with my kids, so. But we'll make it work. Yeah. So, yeah, I haven't been on this week because of all that happening and me working and just all the craziness that's been going on. I have heard it's snowing all around the country, and I'm really glad it's not snowing here because everything else has just spawned. Micing 101 with Professor Tons of Mice. Yeah, I couldn't even imagine snow right now with everything else happening. But yeah. But I haven't been streaming a lot this week because of all of the craziness and having a job and all that, so I wanted to get on tonight. I thought about not because I'm like, oh, like I already streamed once today, but I haven't been on Twitch I don't think I've been on Twitch since like Monday or Tuesday because it's just been crazy. So I have tonight and tomorrow and Monday. Tonight, tomorrow, and Monday. I have all free days, so I might do some streaming. I also got hooked on a game this week. It's a really weird game, and people probably think I'm crazy, but if you guys watch HGTV, there's a game on Steam right now called House Flipper, and I have become addicted to it. Like, literally, like, I don't have a lot of time in the day, but that is how I relax at night now before I go to bed, is like, I will sit there and flip houses on my game. So, I can't stand HGTV. Yeah. But it's a fun, relaxing game. You've watched a few streamers play that. I wondered about streaming it, but I'm like, I don't know if people would want to see, like, all the crazy things I would do to a house, because they'd probably be like, what is she doing? Like, she's tearing down a wall, and she's painting that a strange color. Like, I don't know. It's fun for me, and it's weird that people probably think that that's a weird thing that I find relaxing, is to literally sit there. We totally want to see it. You want to see me? Maybe sometime this weekend I can stream some, I should play Sims. I have just regular Sims. Install a sex dungeon. I don't know if that's even a thing in that game. There is a bunker, though. There's like a, you can create like a prepper bunker and like put like all your prepping stuff in it. I haven't played that one yet, but I don't know. I love it, and I think it's fun, and for some reason I think that's relaxing to sit there and paint a house and clean it up, and a clown bunker. My boy got that game, played it for 20 minutes, then got a refund. I was not surprised. I'm sure he got it because of streamer. Don't know if it's a thing until you try. Yeah, I like it. And it's got like, and now I sound real lame because it's like, oh, there's like DLCs for like gardening and all this other stuff you can add on to it. And I'm just like, it's so relaxing. But I'm sure some people would be like, you're weird. But yes, I do have Sims too. I don't have like the building Sims though. I have the weird, just the people Sims. I had the building Sims when I was like a kid back, like, I don't know, probably when I was like 11 or 12, but I don't. Are those clowns gardening? Oh goodness. But it was like the old version, like probably like 1999 version or something, and I was not a fan of that one, so. But I haven't played any of the new like building sim stuff, but I like those building games where you like build stuff. I mean, I grew up on like Roller Coaster Tycoon and Zoo Tycoon and all those things where you create your own theme parks and zoos, and then you got Sims where you like, you can build your own house and things like that. So I don't know. I've just been like looking on Steam for stuff because now that I have Steam, it's like, oh, I can see all these games and see what I like. You can try House Flipper on Steam once and see if you want to continue. Yeah. I'm sure people will be yelling at me in the side chat, like, what are you doing? Why did you pick that color? Don't let me play Roller Coaster Tycoon. I'm I can't talk tonight. I'm sadistic. I can't talk. Yeah, I kind of was too when I was a kid. We'd always find ways to see how we could, like, kill people. we'd create all kinds of fun little, like, roller coasters and stuff that would end in death. So, look up the meme, Mr. Bones Wild Ride. Mr. Bones Wild Ride. There's a meme. Let's see what that is. Know your memes. I'll have to look at that later. All clowns are sadistic. At least the funny ones are. I've missed being on stream. Like, I miss being just able to, like, hang out and stuff. Tons of nice OnlyFans. It's a roller coaster that you get off, walk a path, get back on, and repeat. Oh. It's just endless. The endless roller coaster. That'd be horrible for people who have, like, motion sickness and stuff. Where you would just keep going, and there was nothing you could do to, like, stop getting sick. You just continually get sick. No, thank you. That sounds horrible. I've never been sick on a roller coaster, though. Like, I have motion sickness in, like, the car and stuff, but I've never had a problem with, like, that's the point, major pukage. Ugh. Yeah, I've never had, like, sickness on roller coasters and stuff, but I haven't ridden, like, rides and stuff in a long time, because I think the last time I went to, like, any place that had rides was when I was, like, 16 or 17. So I haven't really gone on roller coasters and stuff since then. I think that was, like, because the last time I went to Disneyland, I was, like, 16. But yeah, I don't think I've ridden anything since that last time I went to Disneyland, so. And I went to, like, what was the one in... I went to one of the Six Flags in Chicago when I was, like, 12 or 13. I love roller coasters. Nice. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've been on, like, roller coasters and stuff. And I feel like in the future, because I have kids and stuff, like, when we actually start taking vacations and stuff, because we haven't really, like, gone on, like, a vacation to, like, destinations like that. Like, most of our vacations are, like, to the beach, or, like, just hanging out. Like, I would say probably most of them are beach or camping. We haven't done a lot of, like, let's plan to go to an amusement park. Like, that's not something we've really done, because they're still, like, young, so. But I'm sure as they get older, like, they're gonna want to do more of that stuff, especially with, like, them being boys and having friends and, like, hey, let's go to this amusement park for the weekend or whatever. Vacation to Walmart. I mean, it's cheaper than Disneyland, right? Build a house for every hour on the hour. Clowns stick their heads out of the windows and scream. The neighbor that lasts the longest without going insane wins $6 million. That sounds like a reality show. It is true that Disney has furries walking around their park, and it's promoted by the company, like Mickey and Goofy. Yeah, I got freaked out by one when I was a kid, because my favorite, like, Disney movie when I was little was Beauty and the Beast, and my dad was from San Diego, so he loved to go to California whenever he had free time. So when we were younger, like, we would go to Disneyland a lot, like, when I was little. And I was probably, like, 3 or 4, and we went to Disneyland. I don't remember this, but my parents have told me this story. And I loved, like, everything Beauty and the Beast. And, like, Belle had come out, and I was so excited to meet Belle and stuff. And then Beast came out, and it, like, scared the crap out of me. Because it was this giant, like... It's Beast, you know, from Beauty and the Beast, and I'm this little, like, 4-year-old girl, like, scared the crap out of me. I don't remember it, but my parents, they told me that story all the time growing up, like, oh yeah, he scared you, because he was huge. So, yeah. It was funny, though, because we went when I was a little bit older, too, and I don't know what happened, but there was, like, one of the costume characters was Mushu, and, like, he was dancing around, and somehow my sister ended up, like, doing a whole dance routine with him, and there were a bunch of people from, like, Japan, like, with their cameras, and they filmed the entire thing, and I thought it was hilarious, because I'm like, oh, there's probably a bunch of people, like, from Japan who, like, watch those old videos, and my sister's just in them dancing with Mushu. Like, I have a weird childhood. It's an odd one. But, you know. I was like, where's my video? There we go. Yeah. I've missed being on here, but I think the next 3 days I'm gonna be on here and find some stuff to watch. Talk about stuff. Maybe play some games. We'll play some House Flipper maybe tomorrow or Monday. I don't know who's working on Monday because I know it's a holiday, but we'll see. Fun time video of Dancing Girl and Mushu in American Clown Town. Yeah. I have a lot of weird, like, random things from my childhood, that is for sure. But yeah. Yeah, I'm celebrating. Tonight, I'm celebrating my year on YouTube, so I'm excited about that. I'm, but yeah, also excited to be on Twitch, because I just like being on Twitch. It's fun to come talk to people. I was gonna say something and I completely forgot, but that's okay. Oh, I was gonna say, I don't even know when, like, my first Twitch video was. So I don't even know, like, how I'm gonna do a year, because, like, Twitch doesn't keep your videos. I don't know if they keep, like, when you signed up and stuff, but I don't know. I only kept track. Well, I guess with YouTube I can go back and, like, see. But with, like, Twitch, your videos get deleted, so... Although it might be on my YouTube. My first one. When I started reading the Bible through. I'll have to go back and look and see. So if I want to do, like, a Twitch thing, I can too. For my year on Twitch. But that's gotta be a while, because I don't think I even started Twitch till, like, September or October, maybe? Yeah. But with YouTube, it was like I just went back and saw. It was January 15th, and it's like, oh, cool. But, yeah. So I found a video. This is a video about people who left the Christian music industry, and they're kind of just you can only find videos from 7 months ago. On here? On Twitch? Well, Twitch, I don't know. I know Twitch deletes your videos. Like, they don't keep them all. Like YouTube. Like, YouTube keeps... Like, I have all of my videos on YouTube. Oh, on Twitch. Okay. Yeah, I know they delete them after a while, so... But I've been uploading a lot of my Twitch onto my YouTube just so I don't lose a lot of those videos, because I think they're fun to look back on. See the craziness of watching things on here, but... Or the brainwashing industry. Yeah, the Christian music industry. And there's a couple of artists on here that are going to talk about, you know, some of the things they saw while they were in the industry and just how it's not what people think it is. And I've heard this from several people. I know, oh, what's the guy's name? Is it John from Hawk Nelson? I can't remember his name. He's on YouTube now, and he talks a lot about how a lot of it was, you know, not what people... Is Skillet and Flyleaf Christian bands? Skillet is. I don't know who Flyleaf is. But Skillet was around when I was a teenager. Like, they were really popular when I was a teenager. I think they're still kind of popular today, but yeah, I mean, back then they were considered Christian, and I think they're still considered Christian today. But yeah, I was just thinking about, like, the people who talk about, you know, clipped by tons. Finger food? What is that? Peanut butter jelly time? From Neil Show? What is happening? Alright, we're gonna watch the clip.
I have these giant fat sausage fingers that keep tapping everything.
Oh, God.
Oh, man. It's a good thing they don't actually look like sausages, because I could just imagine myself if I was stoned. I might want to eat one day. Talk about finger food. No, I have these giant fat sausage fingers.
That was a while ago. That's when I was on Neil's show. Oh my goodness. We need to see your reactions. Yeah, I don't know why it was all messed up. It should have been... Hold on. I gotta fix it because it's not coming up here right on... Oh, I'll fix it. So everyone can see. Because everybody loves to watch my face. Alright, window capture. What are you doing to me? We'll fix it. The right side's my problem, because that's where I am. There I am. I do exist. Whoops. Captain Caveman. Yeah. Is that better? There we go. Now you can kind of see it better. Everyone loves to watch my face. Send my sex doll. Okay, that's the best I can get it right now. So we'll watch that, because apparently Tons of Mice wants everyone to watch.
Have these giant fat
my
sausage fingers
reactions.
that keep tapping everything. Oh, man. It's a good thing they don't actually look like sausages, because I could just imagine myself if I was stoned, I might want to eat one day. Talk about finger food. No. Have these giant fat...
Oh, my reactions. I get it. I'm someone who definitely... My reactions are definitely, like, not subtle. And now I gotta fix this. Fix it, Felix. Now I remember one time, my friends took me out to... This is a funny story. They took me out to a, I don't know what they call them, drag queen bar. That was fun. And it was so funny because, like, the drag queens knew that it was my first time there because they saw the look on my face. Because I was still, like, a Christian then, and, like, I had just gone out with, like, my friends from work, and none of them were Christians, and, like, they all just, you know, they did this all the time. But the drag queen was, like, making fun of me, because they're just like, oh, like, never been to one of these before, have you? It's like, nope. It was just funny. Because, yes, I do wear all my reactions on my face. There's no doubt about that. Oh my goodness. This is a pain in the butt. What is happening? Ever heard... Yes, I have heard the YouTuber God is Great. I actually learned about her through... Jimmy Snow. Man, there's someone I haven't watched in ages. Yes. I haven't watched God is Great in a long time either, though. I think she would be an interesting person to talk to because she's more of, like, the progressive Christian, and I grew up more fundamentalist, so it would be interesting to get her take on a lot of, I don't know, the Bible stuff that I don't quite understand. And I guess I'd listen to her book On Her Knees. Yeah, I might have to look that up. I think it'd be interesting to talk to her. I don't know. I've thought about, like, talking to more progressive Christians. Because I grew up fundamentalists, and to me there was like no going from like Christian to liberal Christian atheist. Like, because I grew up fundamentalist, it was very much like, Christian, this stuff doesn't work with the Bible, like agnostic atheist. Like, it was kind of that progression, as opposed to a lot of people who go to liberal Christianity or more progressive Christianity. But I just couldn't do it, because I was literally told, like, the entire Bible is literal, and if you don't take it literally, then none of it works, because the whole reason that Jesus came was because Adam sinned, and Jesus had to come and be the second Adam, and he had to undo everything that Adam did in the garden. So without that literal interpretation of the Garden of Eden, Christianity completely falls apart. Like, it has to be literal, and it has to be taken literally, or it falls apart. And I think that was my big thing, is like, it's either all or nothing, because that's what they teach you in fundamentalism. What did Jesus do? But it is interesting to hear, like, more progressive and liberal Christians talk about it, like, metaphorically, because it's like, well, how does that work? Because, I wasn't taught that way, I wasn't taught that, certain things were metaphors and certain things were, I don't know, more like stories and things to teach you lessons. Because I was told a lot of the Bible, like, these things had to have happened. Because if they didn't happen, then the Bible isn't what it claims to be, and God isn't who he claims to be. So, I don't know, I always found that interesting. And it's I guess I just don't get the mindset of progressives because I've never been in that position, like, walked in their shoes and understood how they can make it all work in their minds. And I'm not saying I'm gonna, like, turn into a progressive Christian. Like, I don't see evidence for the Bible in general, but I guess it's just fascinating to me that people can take certain parts of the Bible literally and certain parts of the Bible more figuratively or metaphorically and make it all work. Even though, to me, like, it doesn't work either direction, but maybe because I just haven't looked at it that way. I don't know. Maybe one day I'll talk to more progressive Christians and just see where they're at with that kind of stuff, and I don't know, walk in their shoes for a little bit and see, like, why they think the way they think. That was a big thing I was talking about on Jake's channel today too, was, like, looking at those different perspectives and seeing, where people are coming from, because I think for a long time, like, I was stuck in one perspective, and now, like, that I'm able to go out and look at these different perspectives, I can see how other people see things in a new light, and it doesn't mean I have to believe it too. I just can understand them better, being outside of a religion and not, being so staunch in my beliefs like when I was a Christian. I can actually look at what they believe and go, oh, well, that's interesting, and I mean, that kind of makes sense, but at the same time, it's like, okay, like, I don't get that, and I guess I won't understand that, but everybody's got different ideas and perspectives, and yeah. Conversations are important. That's what I think. Anyways, back to my video. And then I have a brain fart and I can't talk. Yeah, so this is going to talk about, like, the Christian music industry and the problems with it. And just some of the things that, people don't see. There's a lot of things behind the scenes, I think, in Christian music industry that people don't see and they don't realize is happening. So if I send those Christian movies to you, it won't turn you back to a fundamentalist, promise? No. I can't be a fundamentalist because I know too much about the Bible. That's a weird thing to say. Like, I know so much about the Bible that I literally cannot be a fundamentalist anymore. But I feel like that's really true when it comes to, like, Christianity in general, because if you're gonna be a Christian, you almost have to keep yourself ignorant to certain things in the world in order for it to work. Or just completely ignore evidence contrary to what you believe, which we know that's what Christians do a lot of the time, is that they just, hide away from it. Could always have a lobotomy before seeing them. Or get amnesia. That's what I said. I said the only thing that might turn me back to God is, like, if I get amnesia and completely forget everything I know about religion and all that. But at the same time, you have the same... I think I have the same chance of believing any religion then, because regardless of what I do or don't know, like, if I have amnesia and I don't know anything, I could be sucked into any religion at that point. It would just be, like, the first religion that sounds reasonable to me that I would get sucked into, as opposed to, like, critically thinking about it. But that would also have to go with, like, even with the amnesia, I would have to, like, completely disregard any critical thinking skills that I have, too. No bumps on the head, got it. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what I would do if I get amnesia. That'd be weird. At least there's, like, YouTube videos of me I could go back and watch and be like, oh, this is me. This is who I was before I forgot everything about myself. But on my Twitch videos, and who knows? I hope that never happens. I don't want to lose my memory. That would suck. Alright. Should we hear about the Christian music industry? And all the problems. Let's see.
Once I was out of the Christian music industry, I realized, like, a lot of the damage that was done while I was in it.
Music has historically been one of the most prominent and accessible forms of worship in Christianity. Music is a unifier that can transcend culture, language, and distance. But what happens when that experience gets commodified? Enter the contemporary Christian music industry. Emerging as a genre in the late 60s, musician Larry Norman pioneered contemporary Christian music as we know it today. He married his rock and roll style with a spiritual, Jesus-loving message, and brought Christian music mainstream.
Oh my god, I listened to that song so much when I was a kid. I didn't know who sang it, but I knew that song.
Kind of. Since then, CCM has grown into a multi-million-dollar industry, encompassing nearly every musical style, but united in one lyrical theme: praising the Lord. Between publishing, radio play, licensing music to churches, and live shows, this multifaceted industry is not slowing down. Major artists continue to sell out arenas, headline major festivals, and even appear on The Ellen Show, which is a whole thing. I was raised on Christian music. I know pretty much all the words to every DC Talk song, Switchfoot, Reliant K, Newsboys, not to brag. But as I got older, I realized that as a queer Christian, a lot of this music and the artists behind it would not be welcoming or affirming of who I am. So I set out to check in with the industry as it stands today. In an industry that's built on faith, with the product being a deeper connection to God through music, who is being championed and who is being left behind? We all know Nashville is Music City, but it's not just country music they're exporting.
I think the problem is, though, like, a lot of contemporary, like, Christian music is still very much pushed on the more conservative, like, evangelical Christians that are fundamentalists. And fundamentalists are never going to support progressive ideas because they're against what they believe. They take the Bible to such... They believe the Bible is the standard, and they think anything the Bible says don't do, you're not supposed to do it. Even though we know that's not true, that Christians very much cherry pick those things, because there's a lot of things in the Bible that Christians don't follow. But at the same time, I have seats reserved in hell by the fire. I think a lot of the Christian music industry today is still very much reliant on that conservative evangelical Christian to, like, have those kind of things. Because I know, like, growing up, when we went through those phases where it was, you know, let's just listen to Christian music, like, it had to be Christian music that was very in line with what, you know, the biblical worldview that we had and we were taught. And if anything went against that, or if anybody's lifestyle went against that, then yeah, they got pushed out, because they have a certain demographic that they're trying to, you know, give this music to, and have people, you know, play and listen to it and use it in their churches and stuff. But I think even today, I mean, we see a lot more people being more open to, you know, different types of ideas and things within the church. I mean, people are being way more, like I said, with the whole progressive Christianity, people are way more accepting of, like, people living their true selves, you know. There are progressive churches that allow LGBTQ plus people to come to church to experience, you know, that Christian love that they preach. But when it comes to the evangelical churches, they are never going to cross, like, that's a line they won't cross, because they think that there are certain things God laid out, and those are things that God doesn't want in the church. And they're not gonna open their doors up to those kind of people. And I think right now with the Christian music industry, it's really a balancing act, because they're still trying to keep, you know, the evangelical Christians and the more fundamentalist people, you know, still listening to that music, still buying CDs, still hearing that stuff on the radio and using it in their churches. But at the same time, they're writing this line of, we see that, you know, culturally things are shifting and progressive Christianity is becoming a lot more popular. So we need to ride that line of, you know, trying to stay, like, biblical enough that they can keep the older generation listening, but then also, like, being culturally hip enough to, like, keep people who have more progressive ideas coming back and listening to that music as well. And so we have this fine line of, it's so difficult, because it is a very fine line where they're trying to have both sides, you know, keep buying that type of music and keep using that type of music, and but they can see, like, they're very opposing ideas that they have to, like, mix and make it work out. So I guess we'll see what she says about what she finds out when she goes into this video. But that's what I see culturally, is that there is a cultural war going on right now, even just in Christian music, and the Christian music industry is really trying hard to play both sides so that they can keep, you know, their consumers on both sides happy.
Nashville is home to the majority of Christian artists, labels, and publishing companies. It's a uniquely positioned city at the intersection of Bible Belt ideology and entertainment sensibility.
Hey, assistant. How can I know God is real?
I'm sorry, I don't know that.
My first stop is at the home of Lauren Deliri. Lauren and her sister performed in a Christian pop band called Love Collide. They were Juno Award-winning touring artists with 3 studio albums. Recently, Lauren began deconstructing her faith and pinpointing the ways her beliefs weren't compatible with the pressures of the Christian music industry.
Being in the Christian music industry, Obviously, you have to adhere to purity culture, especially as girls. It's this weird fine line between like you have to obviously look cool, but also not be like revealing. I remember one time we were doing a show, I lifted my hands in worship and there's like a picture where you can see like this much of like my stomach.
How dare you?
Yeah, I know, right? I remember somebody tweeted at us and was just like, how can you like consider yourself a Christian? How can you even say you're worshiping whenever you're like making your brothers in Christ stumble with the skin that you're showing with midriff?
Is it true you can't like jump and dance on stage?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I hate purity culture. That's all I'm gonna say. I hate purity culture.
People would complain about it. Men would.
Right.
And they would say it was too sexual. One of our singles, I Don't Want It. The music video for it, we had like paint dripping.
yeah.
And there's one point where I'm singing, and so there's like paint dripping down on my face. And we got complaints that it looked like semen.
Just out of curiosity, were these people, have we confirmed that they are aware of what semen? just would be an interesting follow-up, because as far as I know, if it is hot pink, then you should see a doctor.
It's just wild to me, that kind of stuff. Like, to me, the modern Christian message right now is like, we are nothing, we are but worms. Putting ourselves down so much and then looking at a holy God, like, it's just all about this like huge gap.
While worship music
My semen is blue. Well, maybe you should go see a doctor. She did say if it was hot pink, so, you know. I'm not a doctor.
can feel incredibly cathartic, the content of most popular songs is nonspecific and tends to rely heavily on generic formulas and a lot of times water metaphors. So Lauren and I gave ourselves a challenge.
I think that we should write an I Am the Worm worship song. Oh, but I am worm. Sort of as an example of the cadence of Christian music that is easy to match. Let's see if we can do it in 10 minutes. Something like, glory, you are not the only, I will be my savior, you reach out to me.
Oh my gosh. You're like just doing it. Okay, I love it. Okay.
Well, it's what, okay.
No, it's perfect.
I'm not saying it's a great song, I'm just saying that it's the structure of a worship song.
It's wonderful. Though I am not
and then
worthy.
Something like, glory ever undeserving.
It hurts me.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking about like,
The doctor said that's normal for someone with a Smurf background. I didn't realize you had a Smurf background, tons of mice.
when do the hands go up in the service? And we will praise. Yes. Yeah.
Or-
it's sort of like a choose your own adventure of Christian buzzwords.
Exactly. Yeah, you rescue me.
Ooh, that's a good
Something.
one.
We will praise you, Holy Father, and we adore you. You rescue me.
All right, back to glory one more time.
No, I am not worthy. And then that's when that harmony is full on.
That's when it's full on. Guys, we have a minute to spare.
Christian
worship song,
we
9
did
minutes
it.
or less.
And what's a song without a music video? Lauren had shared some of the guidelines from an imaging standpoint. Modest, covered up, still trendy, but in like a Mumford & Sons way, minimal
Nice.
movement.
You could go to church, or you could sit here and be frisky. Jezebel. Oh no, don't talk about Jezebel, or we'll have to bring out Bob Larson. Since he's the one who has to get rid of Jezebel every week.
We did our best.
Glory, though I am not worthy, new with every morning, you shine down on me. And we will praise you, oh Holy Father, and we adore you, you rescue me.
Saturday morning cartoon villain, Bob Larson. That would be an interesting cartoon villain, going around taking out demons.
Let's write a song we care about.
Next.
So what do you want to write about?
What you sing is what you meditate on.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're just singing over and over that you are unworthy, like that's your meditation.
To be honest, I don't think I've ever felt like there would ever be a place for someone like me in worship music.
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen it.
To me, it's kind of just the opposite of what we just did. I would love to hear a worship song that's saying, I am worthy, like I belong.
So we started writing. And it took longer than 9 minutes. We took a break to get a fresh perspective.
Hey!
Hi.
No one in.
This is Adam Palmer. He's a songwriter, musician, and former founding member of I Am They, a pop acoustic worship group. After going through a divorce and enduring scorn and criticism from his community, Adam stepped away from the band. He's since been on his own journey, navigating the industry with his own progressive and inclusive faith.
I think without saying it, the average Christian listener wants the people on stage to be super Christians. They've really got the faith thing down. They're really dedicated, and like, I read my Bible every single day and night. Like, they want that so that they can project that, oh, that exists, and I
That
can
it's
strive.
attainable.
It's attainable, and look at they've done it. But
And making his way to the ring from some batshit crazy church, the exorcist Bob Larson. Oh my god, that guy. I have some more videos of him that we're gonna watch eventually too, because it's just, he's always fun to just watch and be like, what? What are you talking about? Which is crazy, because like, I grew up Pentecostal, and that was like a normal thing in our church. Like, people talked about, you know, demon possession and like people going through exorcisms and stuff, and now I look at it and just go, what in the world was I thinking as a child, thinking that this was real? Like, it's just so blatantly obvious as an adult now to look at it and go, this is not reality. Like, a lot of these people are just trying to get your money.
really, I found quite the opposite on the road.
Yeah.
Most people are struggling in their faith.
You don't have like a stable lifestyle, so you're always kind of in this flux of being confused with life. So questions and confusions, like part of the daily life when you're touring.
I've heard much talk about the names assigned to different demographics that Christian music targets, and I want to
real.
hear for myself. There's like a family of people.
Yes,
Okay.
excluding the dad. There's Becky. She's the mom that is really spoke to about the lyric of, I broke the heel off my shoe today and the kids are making me late and I have to clean up Cheerios and blah, blah, blah. And then you have Taylor, which is the teenage girl. And she is targeted by heroes of modesty and purity. They want to
God.
pour into her this ethic of her sexuality needs to be this sacred prize.
And then what's the other demographic?
Austin, it's the teenage
Austin.
boy. He's listening to the hard rock bands like Skillet and the tough Christian rock bands. You want to be presented safe angst.
Safe angst.
Yeah.
Please, kids, practice angst safely.
Safe
Safe angst.
God-honoring angst. The demographic focus is primarily based on reaching the mom.
Because she's the one in the car driving around the kids.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a fascinating implication as well.
Yeah.
Because it speaks into how we view gender roles
Yep.
and the culture and what's the mom supposed to be doing? Well, she's supposed to be raising the kids. You know?
Right.
Doesn't leave a lot of wiggle room for like the mom that's out hustling and is the breadwinner. Like
Yeah.
that's not a thing.
Right.
So yeah, it's very one-dimensional.
For me, music is about finding community through shared human experiences. When a song gives voice to something you thought that no one else could possibly understand. But whose hearts are being touched when the music is being written for imaginary, picture-perfect people? Whose stories aren't being heard? I headed out to meet Ricky Brady, Lauren's friend from church. Ricky has spent the majority of his life as a professional worship singer and songwriter. He competed on season 17 of The Voice, and frankly, has one of the best voices I've ever heard.
When I was like 4 and 5 years old, my mom, dad, and sister would sing like at the church, and I would.
That is one thing that I always felt bad for people who actually had great voices. And, you know, they always put them up as, like, the people who go up there and sing on stage and stuff. And, you know, not being in the church anymore and thinking about those people and just being like, oh my goodness, you could have, like, used your voice to make, like, great music for other people, or you could have used it for so many other things than getting up there every Sunday. And it's almost like a waste of talent for so many people, because there's so many talented people that I have heard in the church that have amazing voices, but they waste it on something that it's not gonna get them anywhere. Like, I know they think it's, you know, their talent is going to God and they're, you know, God's happy in heaven listening to them sing, but I just think of all the people that, you know, could have had great careers and stuff from just having that amazing talent, and it's been washed away because Christianity says, oh no, you're not supposed to use that talent in, you know, in the world, or you're not supposed to use that talent for anything but God. Bob Larson sings, they said we're gonna snow, but it's only rain. Demon Weatherman lied to me again.
I would sit with my grandmother and sing every single word that they were singing. My mom homeschooled me so that I could travel with a Christian singing group when I was 16, and that's when I realized this is what I want to do.
Wake up.
I'm not asleep.
Ricky worked in almost every facet of the industry, touring consistently with gospel groups, singing backup for major artists, and even writing and recording under a record deal. But he found that being in the closet was stifling his creativity and motivation. He got off the road and accepted a position as the music leader for a church worship team.
The pastor and I, we saw things differently, voted
Sure.
differently, but we were able to mutually respect each other. And
Did they know that you were gay?
he still believed, I guess, that it was there, but I wasn't pursuing it, any relationship or anything like that. And so I knew that I needed to at least tell the pastor. There was a part of me that hoped, maybe naively, that because of the relationship that I'd had with the church for years, that they would say, okay, well, let's figure it out. You know, we love you, we appreciate your heart, anything like that. And it was not the response.
So you were fired.
I was basically let go, yeah. I was given the option almost to stay quiet, but not the option to stay and be authentic and honest.
It's such a problem in the church, too, is that, like he said, you can't stay and be authentic and honest because you have to hide parts of yourself when you go to church. Because they do expect you, especially when you're in higher authority roles like that, like him being a part of ministry, there's an expected level of, like, obedience towards the Bible that it's utterly ridiculous, but, yeah, they don't leave any wiggle room for anything. Like, there's no gray spots when it comes to fundamentalist Christianity. Like, it's black and white for them. Like, there are certain things you don't do, there are certain things you do, and if you cross that line, you're out. And unfortunately, I think it's happened to a lot of people, especially in this day and age, where they cannot be their authentic self, where they cannot love who they want to love, where they cannot be the person that they are because the church doesn't allow them to be that. And that's a big part of kind of that cult mentality when it comes to the church. Like, to be a part of our tribe, you have to follow the tribe rules. And the tribe rules are, you have to be straight, you have to be Christian, you have to be, you know, you have to follow all these rules that we lay out. You know, you should tithe, even though I've been told many times before that that is not, like, biblically, the way that they talk about tithing is not the way that it is today, but do not stick this organ in that organ. Yeah, it's so weird. And it's so weird, too, because growing up in church, it never occurred to me growing up in church that Christianity is completely obsessed with what people do in their bedrooms. Like, in the real world, a lot of people, like, they don't care who you're with, what you do, whatever. As long, you know, your private time is your private time. It has nothing to do with anyone else. And I didn't realize it till I was much older that, like, they are obsessed with, like, people's sexuality and obsessed with how people should act and be in the ways that they think you should be in the bedroom, where it all has to be, like, a certain way. Even like when you get married, like there are certain things you do, there are certain things you don't do, and it's so crazy to me to just think back on like I said in the past, I hate purity culture, and I get why now, because like I was raised in it, and it creates this idea that like I had no bodily autonomy of my own. The entire reason I existed was to grow up, marry a godly man, and have babies. And like, that's not a bad thing. I wanted to grow up, I wanted to get married, I wanted to have kids. But like I said in the past, they don't tell you all the things that like go into that. They don't say like, oh, find someone who likes you, find someone who you have stuff in common with, find someone who's gonna care about you and care about your children and take care of you and, have those deeper connections with that other person. Like, that's not what they teach you in the church. They teach you that, just find a godly man and he'll follow God and you guys will be married and it'll be great. Unfortunately, that doesn't work. Like, there are so many other factors that go into marriage. Certain things you do, boring. Certain things you don't do, hot. It's just, they leave out so much of the importance of having relationship. They focus so much on the sexual aspect of marriage and how you have to stay pure and your body is for your husband and you need to dress modestly and guys aren't able to control themselves, and if you're a victim of any type of assault, it's your fault regardless if you were wearing a dress to your ankles or a bikini, like, because men are apparently incapable of being accountable for anything, and it's so gross, and there's so much victim shaming, and there's so much lost when your entire focus is on people's sexuality and how they should conduct themselves in the bedroom. And it just grosses me out to think about it now, because it's like, I was a kid growing up in church, and this was pounded into my head. Like, adults pounded that into my head. Not just, like, my parents, like, pastors, teachers at school. Like, they were constantly, like, on you about your sexual life. Children under 18, and now I think about it, and I'm just like, that is utterly disgusting, like, that people are so obsessed with other people's sex lives to the point that they have to know everything you're doing all the time, and you have no freedom to explore and understand who you are and understand, what you like and what you don't like and what kind of person you want to be with and if you want to get married and if you don't want to get married, and they make everything about sex, and it's like, there's so many other factors that go into having a relationship, not just like a romantic relationship, but even just relationships as friends. Like, they completely jump over those type of things and go straight to your bedroom. They don't care, like, if you and your partner have the same hobbies or whatever. It's very much, make sure that you're pure on your wedding night. And I'm sorry, purity culture really it's one of my hard-hitting things in my life, is just like, because it really does mess with people's brain to a point. Yeah, it's not healthy. It's so unhealthy for culture in general, and growing up during the age that it was so prevalent in everything I did really frustrates me. And it frustrates me that I wasn't able to explore those things even as a young adult. because, like, I was in Christian college, and, like, I signed all these forms that said I had to stay pure, and I wasn't allowed to do those kind of things, and it's like, I was over 18, like, I had the ability to do those things, but I had been brainwashed into thinking that I had to be something, that they wanted me to be. Industrial purity? Did I say industrial? What? I'm just going off because purity culture really ticks me off, but like I said today, like, I'm kind of getting a second chance now, because now that, like, I'm getting a divorce, like, I'm gonna have that ability to, like, redo some stuff in my life. Yeah, it's better now, and getting that second chance, I think, will be nice, because that form you signed, oh yeah, all the schools I went to, even my high school, I went to, junior high, high school, and college. All three of those schools, I had to sign a pledge that said I would not have sex before marriage. And if I got caught doing that, I'd get expelled from school. And there were people that got caught, like, having sex at the high school and got kicked out of school. Were they going to check? I don't know. This is one thing that really pissed a lot of parents off. There was a really popular boy at my school and a girl, and the really popular boy's parents, like, they worked for the school, and they were, like, I don't know if they were donors to the school, but they were a big part of the Christian school, and him and this girl got caught in the drama room having sex. She got expelled, and he got suspended and got to come back, like, 2 or 3 days later. And I can tell you there were a lot of people pissed about that, because once again, they were blaming the girl that she had, like, tempted him to do that, and he didn't get as much trouble because he was a boy. And even though he had, like, signed a thing that said he could get expelled, like, he didn't get expelled. So, and it's just frustrating, because, like, things like that happen all the time in my high school, where it was, like, boys could get away with a lot more than girls could. And it was stupid. I remember getting sent to the principal's office, like, in junior high, because, like, my shorts were, like, they're supposed to be, like, down at between your fingertips and your knees, and mine weren't, and I got in, like, a huge amount of trouble, and they called my parents, and they're like, you need to come bring her different pants or whatever, and it's just, like, it was a warm day in school. I wasn't, like, flashing the boys, like, with a mini skirt. It was just shorts, and I think that was so frustrating to me, too, was just, I don't know. It was very much, policing girls and their bodies. My whole, like, from the time I was in junior high, yeah, they policed from the time I was, like, yeah, probably 7th grade to 12th grade. Like, there were certain things I couldn't wear and couldn't do, and if I got found out, I'd get kicked out of school. Of course, I was brainwashed and was, like, good little purity culture girl who didn't want to bend the rules or break the rules, and so, you know, I was like, I signed the paper, like, this is what, and I had already planned to do that stuff anyway, because I had also signed that, I signed a lot of purity pledges when I was a kid, because I think I signed one at my church, and then I had to sign one at my junior high, and my high school, and my college. But I think we even had, like, special speakers come in and stuff at the school, and I also signed, like, purity pledges for that, so. Chris Hansen. So, Mr. Perv, would you like to take a seat? Yeah, it was... Yeah. Probably from the time I was... Well, even in, like, 5th and 6th grade, like, I might not have, like, realized it as much, but I think probably from 5th to 6th grade all the way up till college, like, yeah, we girls were completely and totally policed. And would get in trouble anytime they wore anything they thought would make any of the teen boys in my school have lustful thoughts. Because that's not okay, and that's, like... I mean, the Bible even says, like, don't cause, like, other people to stumble. And that was a big part of it, is, like, they didn't... Like, girls couldn't wear what they wanted because it could cause a guy to stumble. And then we're the ones to blame because he had lustful thoughts about us. Even though it's something in his brain and, like... I don't know if he's thinking about having sex with me in junior high school. Like, fun fact, my 7th and 8th grade math teacher was a perv. Didn't find that out till way later, but, my 7th and 8th grade math teacher, he wasn't a perv at our school, but he ended up leaving my Christian school and went to a public school to teach math. And I think my sophomore year in high school, he got caught sleeping with one of the students and ended up in jail. And he had a wife and 4 kids, and those kids were tiny, like they were little. And I remember like everyone in the school going, what? Like, our math teacher that we had for 2 years in junior high? Like, oh my god. And it's crazy because that math teacher, before he became a math teacher, he actually went to police school and was gonna be a cop. So when I found out, like, he went from trying to be a cop to being a math teacher, and now he's in jail for sleeping with students, I was just like, oh my god, like, I'm glad I was not around for any of that, because if that had happened at my school, it would have been like, what is happening? Like, but, yeah. Like I said, I had a weird childhood, like, a very weird childhood, and the more I look back at it, I'm just like, how did I think any of the things that happened to me as a kid were, like, okay? I admire boobs, and I don't go around boning because boobs are amazing. Yeah, but even in college, like, when I was, a cop who can do math, a miracle. Yeah, when I was in college and I was dating my my husband, soon-to-be ex-husband, in college, we went to my dormer one time, and the rule is, like, the guys have to stay. If a guy goes to your room in college, they had to stay in, because I was, like, in a suite, and the suite had 3 rooms, so it was, like, the first room was, like, a study / like, kind of living room area, where all our desks were to, like, study, and then the middle area was the bedroom, and then the back area was the bathroom. The rule was the door had to stay open, so you obviously couldn't do anything because there were RAs walking up and down the hallway making sure people aren't, like, having sex in their rooms. But, yeah, so, we, like, came in one day, and my husband, like, gets annoyed at people a lot. He doesn't like people, like, in general. So, the neighbors across from us, like, he did not like those girls at all, and he heard them come in behind us. So, you know, he wasn't thinking about, you know, there are rules we have to follow. Like, he just didn't want to hear them because they were, like, bitching and stuff in the hallway. And so we went in, and the door shut behind us, and what we didn't know was that those girls across from us had brought one of the adult, like, what was she? She was like the athletic nurse. Like, she took care of the athletes and made sure that they, like, when they had issues, she dealt with them and stuff. We didn't know she was with them. And we go in and we shut the door because, like, they're being annoying in the hallway and we don't want to hear them, but we have no idea that there's, like, an older adult with them. Because, of course, it's college. We're all adults, but, like, we're considered children because we're children in college. And she's, like, a 30-year-old, So we let the door shut because we're just, like, they're being annoying. We don't want to hear them. Like, no big deal. And the next thing we hear is her banging on our door and being like, open this door, like, you know the rules, you're not allowed in there with the boy, and the door shut. And yeah, I think that was the only time I got in trouble for having a guy in my dorm room. Well, sweet. But yeah, it was, and it's so funny to me because, like, I got in trouble for that, but, like, do you hear moaning? But at the same time, there were people literally having, like, full-on parties at the school I was at. Like, they would get drunk and, you know, do things. And I had heard about, like, the parties and stuff they had, and there were people sleeping around. But you never hear about those people getting in trouble or, you know, somebody coming banging on their door for doing crap. And a lot of those things were happening in, because they had houses for, like, specific, like, athletes. So, like, they had a house with all the baseball players who lived in one, and they had a house for, like, the basketball players that they all lived in a house together and stuff like that. And the baseball team, I heard at my school, was super into partying and stuff, but I never heard them get in trouble for that kind of crap. It was just really frustrating. And I look back on it now and I'm like, oh my god, like, I was an adult. I had every right to, you know, be able to, do what I want. But, you know, because I had signed this contract that said I would stay pure until I was, you know, a married woman, I was literally being policed by people, even when I was dating in college, like. And I look back on it now and I'm like, I'm really stupid. Like, I could have just done anything. And, I mean, yeah, they could have kicked me out, but it's like, I was an adult. Like, I had a right to explore my life and find out who I was. And I guess that's why I think that's why a lot of people send their kids to, like, private Christian school, because it's very much keeping them in that bubble, like I've talked about, and makes it very much like, oh, they're going to college, but I know they can't, like, step over these boundaries because this college says they can't step over those boundaries or they'll get kicked out. So, yeah, it was weird. And I just look back on it now and go, I was really just dumb for thinking that I couldn't do whatever the crap I wanted because I was technically an adult, but that, you know, indoctrination is a hell of a drug. Oh, cameras and microphones? No, thank you. Yeah, and I feel bad for people who, like, now when I look at it, I'm just like, people who want to explore life and, you know, figure out what's bad. We're just clowning around, come on in. Or not bad, figure out what's good for them and, you know, who they are and stuff. I think college should be a time to find yourself and really, you know, not just figure out, you know, what you want to do in life. Because, you know, most people go to college because they want to get a degree in something, but I think it's also a good time to just explore life in general, like, and I didn't even have that option when I was in college. It was very much like, I'm a Christian, I have to stick to these rules, like, do my homework, go to my job, make sure I'm not, like, doing anything against what I've been taught, and that was pretty much my life. And vibrators 101. Yeah. But I didn't have the ability to do that in college, or even like I haven't had the ability to do that. Like, I don't think until like I started like my deconversion process and really looking into what truth is and finding out, you know, what I believe, even though it's not belief, it's a lack of belief, but just figuring that out, I think it's really opened up a world for me where I can go, you know what, like, I was young, I did not understand the world, like, I got married at a young age, and, you know, the life path that I thought I was going to take has very much forked into something else. But it's a good fork in the road, because instead of just having one path that I have to follow forever, like, now I can choose what path I want to take, and I can take time to figure out who I am. And I think over this last year, just doing YouTube and Twitch and talking to other people and just exploring more about the world and learning things that I didn't even know before has definitely given me more perspective of who I am and who I want to be, and just looking more forward to the future and being able to go, I can change a lot of things in my life now, because I'm getting a chance to basically start over where, you know, I'm not indoctrinated with faith. Just follow your giant clown shoes wherever they may lead. Yeah, I'm not indoctrinated with faith anymore. Like, I don't have to stick to one worldview. Like, getting divorced, like, I have the option to date or not date, or, you know, decide if I want to explore other avenues in dating, you know. And I don't know, I think it just opens up a world, a much bigger world, and a much more realistic world, and just being able to find out who I am. And that's weird, like, thinking about it, like, from a 30-year-old, like, most people don't think, oh, I need to go find myself at 30, but, or, well, I guess I'm 33, but at the same time, it's like, I've been given, in the last few years, I've been given, just more options in life. And, you know, it's not where I thought I'd be, and it has not been easy, and it's been, you know, I've had bumps in the road and stuff on the way, but I think it's good for me to basically, like, start over and just find out who I am and what I like and what I want, and it's gonna take me on a different path in life, but I mean, the path I'm on right now, I don't see anything wrong with it. Like, I'm doing what I want to do, and, you know, I'm having the time to do what I want to do, but I'm also, like, being able to spend time with my kids and do my YouTube, and time to put on some mouse ears and party. And just figure out even, like, job stuff and everything. Like, you know, those are things that I never had time to sit down and go, what am I going to do in life? Because my life for the last 13 years has been wife and mom. Like, I haven't been much of anything else until I started YouTube, so, oh, gonna go curl up like a burrito. Okay, Leon, have a nice evening. But yeah, it's good. And I think it's good for anyone to go out and figure out who they really are. And I think that's a big thing with just life in general, is finding out who you are and being content with yourself before getting into a relationship with anyone. And I think Christianity is really terrible about that, because it's not about finding your identity. It's not about finding yourself. It's not about being content with who you are. It's about this is what you need to do because the Bible says you need to do it, and it just leads people into bad relationships or, you know, relationships that don't give people what they need because you're told this is what you're supposed to have versus, you know, find what you need and find what is best for you. And it's okay not to be in relationships too, and I think that's a huge part. That's a problem in the church too, is that they push this narrative that you need to have a relationship of like one woman, one man, get married. And once again, they don't let you explore and find out who you are and really dig into that and see if that is even what you want, you know. I mean, there are people who have different sexualities, and that's okay. Like, if two girls want to be together, if two boys want to be together, like, if they don't want to be monogamous, if, like, for me, you know, if people want to live their best lives, let them live their best lives. If they don't believe in marriage, like, they don't have to get married. So, we have hope that you will find a fulfilling relationship. Yeah, we'll see. I think it might be a while, because I don't know if it was because I was a Christian that I just don't have a good, like, gauge on people, or if I just don't quite know who I am yet in that respect, so we'll see what happens. But I do feel like I have more ability to explore in the future and, you know, maybe not stick to the, like, role I was kind of put into because I was raised as a Christian woman.
Done a lot of session work here in Nashville, mostly for Christian artists, like choral stuff. I'm now not called for those things anymore.
Our second to last interview was with a major Christian music label. We had a fine experience filming, but after we left, it became clear that they were not comfortable with some of the questions I asked. Hint, it was the gay ones.
Yeah.
Following a polite and respectful discourse, we've opted not to include the interview. But I won't deny that it's frustrating not to be able to have an open dialogue, and it's hurtful that this interview is perceived to have been controversial.
Honestly, we didn't really learn anything especially new. There wasn't a major reveal in this interview. The only thing I can think of is that I asked about representation in the Christian music industry and if there was space for a gay artist. And the answer that I received was basically like, I don't know, to be determined, we don't talk about it, doesn't really come up. Which honestly, I don't think is totally true, but that was the answer, and we moved on, and there were other questions that were asked as well. So there was a whole phone chain of freak out because I asked a question about representation and inclusion. I think that they don't want to be included in this story. And by not being included, I think that already speaks volumes to what we've heard from other people. It's just pretty sad to think that someone walked away from the conversation we had and was like, I think this could be a problem. Because the question isn't the problem. It's the fact that you're not having the conversation. It's the fact that you're complicit in this exclusion. That's the problem.
Yep.
With Home Chef, your home.
Well, it's gonna be a struggle in the music industry because, like I said, they're trying to ride that line of being relevant to the younger kids today, but not, like, upsetting the older generations who, you know, aren't as into that kind of... I don't even know how they would think about it, but, I mean... It's trying to play both sides without causing problems, but at the same time trying to stick to the more fundamentalist view.
We are on our way right now to talk with Dan from Jars of Clay. He was the lead singer. If you paid attention to contemporary Christian music at all growing up, like other cool kids like me, then you know that Jars of Clay was a huge band. They were staples of the Christian music industry. I'm curious about what a long career revealed to him about the nature of the industry.
I'm Dan Hasseltine, and I am the singer for the band Jars of Clay.
You're a pretty big band.
We had a good run, I would say. We toured for about 22, 23 years. If you were reading the bio, it would say multi-platinum, 3-time Grammy-winning band Jars of Clay.
Same.
Yeah,
my bio too.
In 2014, Jars of Clay faced backlash after Dan sent out a handful of tweets questioning why people were so adamantly opposed to gay marriage.
Lifeway and like all the outlets that sold Christian music had pulled our Jars of Clay stuff off the shelves. We had been disinvited from a bunch of the music festivals and things that we were supposed to do that year. Christian radio had pulled our music off. They weren't going to play it anymore. It was the backlash of the Christian community because I was asking questions about how we treat the LGBT community. The fact that I was asking the questions meant that we were unsafe now. That was the moment where it was just like, okay, I guess we're not going to have this conversation with this community of people. And yet, I look at it and I go, I think we were asking the right questions. I don't regret pushing that conversation forward. There weren't any other Christian artists that were having that conversation.
There aren't.
There still really aren't.
There
right?
really aren't.
Yeah, and it's just unfortunate because the other thing I learned from it was just there's so many people that have been hurt really badly by the church.
Are there other artists that are sort of where you are but won't say anything publicly because...
Yeah, I've got a list. I'll just...
No, I mean, I just mean that, like, surely you can't be the only person who's...
Yeah, that's a hard line, too, is that, like, if that's your livelihood and that's how you make it, and you come out and start basically rocking the boat in the Christian community, you can lose your job. And that's so hard, and not just for the Christian industry, like music, but even with, you know, we've heard about clergy and stuff who have been the same way. Like, they'll start asking those kind of questions and things, and, like, you could lose everything just because you want to be inclusive and you want to step outside that box and see people as people and not just as Christian. And that is the hard thing with Christianity today, is trying to make that work in a way that, I don't know, for me it doesn't work because, you know, I grew up fundamentalists and they're blatantly against anything that they don't think is biblical, and they don't think anyone in the LGBTQ community is biblical at all. So, there's always going to be that pushback from the Christian church as long as there's fundamentalism, because they're always going to say, no matter what the science says, no matter what, you know, what we know about people now and how people have changed over time and how, you know, people have different sexualities and they have different, like, I don't know all the science. I definitely need to look more into it. I did watch the Bill Nye special about, you know, the different, you know, genders and sexuality and stuff, but I don't know enough about it to, like, sit here and give you a whole speech on it. But from what I do know, I think it's important that Christians look into that. But again, I mean, we live in a world where a lot of fundamentalist Christians completely ignore anything that shows them that there are things in Christianity that are blatantly untrue. And no matter what you do, you can't force someone to open their eyes and see reality and see the truth if they don't want to see it. And it's just gonna get worse as time goes on, because, yeah, the progressive Christians are probably gonna grow, but because the fundamentalist Christians are shrinking, they're clawing and fighting their way to getting their way in everything because they know their time is coming to an end soon, and they're gonna keep having that pushback until they all die out. So
who's questioning
a lot of artists that are still in the spotlight,
in a world
they
where
believe
Christians
that way, but
finally
they're
see
really
the
not
truth.
allowed to say it. At some point, the value of an artist comes from telling the truth, to lift another person up rather than keep a person oppressed.
It makes me so sad because I think of music that was so there for me.
Mhm.
That was like, that felt like so
Right.
comforting.
Yeah.
I almost have to like redo some of my childhood memories because
Yeah.
there are artists that now I think.
Hello, Woken One. How are you tonight? I hope you're having a better week than last week.
Back on the struggles I was going through that I don't know like would be there for me. I just have to wonder, who was it for? Was it for
Yeah.
me in the closet? Like who was it for? Would they have rathered that?
Wow.
And I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You
Actually,
don't-
I really am.
You don't need to apologize.
I know. Well, but as just a, yeah, it pains me that's how the story plays out.
If you could make sort of a prediction or maybe a speculation on where you see the Christian music industry going, and perhaps what would your hope be?
I think there will be church music, and that's sort of the worship music that exists. And then I think the artists that want to look at the world and describe it, they're just finding their space amongst all the other artists in general music, which maybe is how it always should have been.
The fact that we don't have a Christian artist speaking to the powerful journey of coming out, coming into yourself, who God created you to be, that there isn't that, like, I'll buy that album,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
I want to hear that story.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not on a Christian label. They might not be ready for that.
Right.
But it won't make it any less divinely inspired if it finds its way into the world.
I miss worship music. My goal, if, I'm gonna...
It just really sucks that people are in a religion that so adamantly hates just who they are. Like, legitimately hates them because they think that the God they worship hates them. And instead of seeing, like, the damaging effects that this is doing to them and to their community in general, and not fighting back against that and going, maybe we don't need Christianity. I'm not saying that they should, like, just up and leave their religion, but it was always just weird to me that why would you be part of anything that claims that they hate who you are? And that's a big part of me, like, when I stepped outside of Christianity, it was like, just as a woman, I could never go back to Christianity because I know Christianity is so hostile and so hateful towards women and them having any roles in anything other than, being a wife or a mother. And it's detrimental to women in general because it doesn't allow you to be a person and do what you want to do. And for me, not just looking at, like, the things that I've looked at that have shown me that Christianity is not true, but just looking at how horribly it's treated women throughout even today, and how any woman could stand up and say, like, yes, this religion is good for me because I'm a woman and it gives me all this freedom or whatever, when it's like, no, it does the opposite. It hinders who you are. And I think it hinders women even worse because they talk about, like, you can't have identity. But then when it comes to a woman, it's not just like you can't have your own identity because your identity is in Christ. Like, you can't have your own identity because your identity is in Christ, and it's in being a wife to your husband, and it's in being a mother to your kids. Your entire identity as a woman is destroyed because they don't see you as a person. Like, you have a ruler over you who is like your husband, and then you take care of your kids, and you're just seen as their mom. You know, people don't see you as your own person, and, you know, you have your own thoughts and your own feelings and your own desires in life. And I think the church does a real disservice to moms because they don't have that outlet to be a person, because you're just told you're supposed to be in this role, and you get lost and you just don't exist for, you know, however long you're that wife or that mother. Because it's always like you're either attached to your husband or you're attached to your kids. And I saw a lot of that, like, after I had kids, was like I was no longer, like, people didn't call me by my first name anymore. Like, it was like, oh, you're such and such mom, bleh. You're this kid's mom, or you're this kid's mom, or, you know, oh yeah, you're like friends with this mom who's has this kid. And it's like they completely erase who you are, because you're no longer a person. You're just this being that gave birth to these little people that they love now, and you're just their mother now. And it is frustrating when that becomes the case. And, you know, people in the church don't see anything wrong with that. They're like, oh, that's what you were supposed to be. Like, you're supposed to have kids, and, like, that is who you are. And it's like, okay, but my kids are not who I am. My husband is not who I am. Like, I'm still a person. I still have wants. I still have needs. I have desires. I have, you know, there are times when I want to go out with my friends and have a coffee. Well, not coffee, but I don't like coffee, but, you know. Or, you know, go to the movies, or go hang out with my sister and just vent. Like, and people don't see that. And they don't understand, like, oh, why would you want to go do any of those things? Like, you have a husband, you have kids, like, you should want to be with your family all the time. And it's like, I have a life outside of my family, and I have a life outside of my religion, and I have a life outside of my just everything else that I do. But they don't see it that way, and it is pretty sad to see that. And especially when I was still in the church, where it was like, oh, you're this person's mom, or, you know, you're this person's wife. It was never like, oh, you're just you know? Like, how are you? What's new in your life? Like, it was never about me. It was always about, like, what's your husband doing now? Like, what's he doing for work? How are your kids doing in school? Like, and I get that's, like, a big part of my life right now, and even when I was still in the church, but at the same time, it's just like, I feel like women get so lost in those roles that their individuality and their humanity just gets erased. And it's really, I don't know, it's kind of disgusting to me now thinking about it, because people stopped seeing me for me, and they started seeing me as just someone who takes care of all these other people. And maybe that's why I like being in my online group and, like, talking to my friends and stuff on here, because we want to know about you. That's why we're here. Yeah. Because I do have, like, I can have relationships on here and talk to people, and they can see me for me, and it's not just like, oh, you're a mom, or you're a wife, or, you know, it's like, no, I'm a person. Like, I want to be on here. I want to talk about things that I have passions about, like, that I think about, that I want people to know, that, you know, there's a whole other part of me that gets lost. And since being online and starting YouTube and being in the atheist community, I think that's been something I very much appreciate, is that all these people, like, they know that I am that I, you know, do those things every day and stuff, but they're not just there for that. Like, they want to know that I'm okay. They want to know, like, if there are ways they can help me through, like, you know, this past year has been difficult. Like, even though I started my YouTube this year, like, this year has been a roller coaster ride because of all the things I've been through, and having this community online that will, like, literally write you on Twitter and be like, oh my god, if you need anything, like, we will help. And just talking to all these people, and, like, all the people that rallied around me when shit started to go down in my life in, like, June. It was incredible the amount of just resources and help people were willing to give me. And, like, I ended up on phone calls with people that, like, I had never met in my life, but they had gone through, like, similar things, and they understood it, and they, you know, were there for me, and they wanted me to know, like, the things that I needed to do and ways to help me and to protect myself and just make sure that I was okay in those moments, because they know those things are hard to go through, and going through those things alone are even harder. And it doesn't matter if they're, like, living on the other side of the world. Like, they want to make sure that you're okay. And it's the same with me. Like, I have so many friends on this, in this community, not just Twitch, but YouTube and, you know, Discord and all these other, like, places where there's all these atheist groups. Like, most of us are in the same groups online. But just, like, being there for each other and really giving each other, like, practical advice and practical ways that we can help each other, as opposed to, you know, the religious way of just being, oh, just pray about it. Oh, just, you know, whatever about it. You're not alone. We laugh with you. Oh, yeah. Me and my clowns. But yeah, it's been, like, this year has been the craziest year of my life. But it's also been, I think, the year that I've grown the most and have found more of myself and have been able to, you know, meet more people and stuff. Even with COVID going on, like, I can still talk to people on here. I can still spend time with people, you know, on my YouTube or on my Twitch or wherever. And it's just nice to have those conversations and, you know that I'm not alone, and that other people who need help that I can reach out to aren't alone either. Because I'm definitely one of those people that, like, if someone else is going through a hard time, like, I want to reach out to them too. So, and it was interesting talking to my therapist, because I love my therapist, because she's an atheist too. But she was talking about, you know, the difference between being in a religious group and, like, going through hardships versus, like, being more in the atheist community online, and how, you know, I told her, like, they're way more practical because, like, they live in reality and they, like, actually want to reach out and help, you know, in any way they can, like, in the real world, as opposed to, like, just go pray about it, just go read your Bible about it. Like, it's refreshing to have people that actually care about you as a person and don't just tell you to, like, go do something else to deal with it. And I don't know, it was nice to just talk to her about that and be like, no, like, this is probably the best group of people I could have in my life right now, because, you know, a lot of them have been there and a lot of them understand what I'm going through, and I don't really live in reality. I live in Arkansas. I'm so sorry. Aren't they, like, one of the lowest, like, school? I don't know if they are or not. I feel like they're low on the list in, like, the school category, but I could be wrong. But yeah, just having people who understand that when people need help, you help them. Lowest everything. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, I don't know how people live. I could never live in those states with just the Bible Belt and all that, because it would drive me nuts. I very much appreciate that I live in a liberal state, and I live in a place where there's a lot more diversity and it's okay to be yourself.
Start writing worship songs again is to write songs that I resonate with and that people in my church could sing and you can sing and not be stepping over bad theology or damaging messages.
Sadly, I think the bridge was burned just by coming out, but it's met with a overwhelming amount of peace knowing that I am exactly where I need to be. Everything that I create, music and otherwise, is going to come from a place of complete honesty and oneness with myself and my Creator.
We know the resilience of the human spirit. We will always find a way.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I'm excited and hopeful for. And that's what I've learned from my time in Nashville. And also letting people know if you're gay, you can still listen to Jars of Clay.
Right, yeah.
Don't worry, it's okay.
Yes.
You never left me, and I believe I'm worthy, and you couldn't be closer. I see the light breaking through, so I'm gonna break free. Oh, you're alive, wide as a river for me. Oh, you're alive, deeper than the ocean, rising for me.
Thank you for watching Refinery 29. For more videos, click here, and to subscribe, click here.
That was really interesting to just hear just different perspective on, like, you know, the background of being in the Christian music industry. And it is interesting because I have heard other stories about, like, the Christian music industry and how a lot of those people don't live the lives that people claim that they live. You know, they go on stage and they say they're Christians and all this stuff, but a lot of them just live like that's just their career. It has nothing to do with who they actually are. And sadly, I think a lot of Christians put a lot of those people on pedestals, and they're like, oh, they have to sacrifice so much to, like, be in the Christian music industry and, like, give up millions of dollars to be, like, famous pop star or something. But, you know, I've heard a lot of them don't actually live that whole Christian lifestyle once they're off the stage anyway. A lot of them, it's just a career. And that's hard to tell Christians too, to be like, oh yeah, these people that you look up to and you think are like these amazing Christian artists, like, they're people too, and they just, you know, some of them, I don't even know, like, there might be some of them up there that don't believe, but they know that it's gonna give them a paycheck every month. So it's just interesting to look at those kind of things and really deep dive into them. Excuse me. It's 9 o'clock. It's my second live stream today, and it's just like, where's the time gone? But at the same time, like, it's like, oh, it's only 9 o'clock. But yeah. Do you want to put on a hat? I don't need to right now. I think we're gonna finish up pretty soon, so I can go flip a house maybe. Yeah. I might go flip a house or clean my house or I don't know, we'll see. I might do some might stream some house flipping tomorrow. That sounds fun. If anybody wants to see me flip some houses on my new game, see if I can make a pretty penny off of them. I've been doing really good on that, actually. Like, my last house, I only bought it for like 62,000 and I sold it for 99 after I like fixed it all up. So I think I'm a pretty good house flipper. Like on my game at least. Does this house have a sex dungeon? No, it does not. Sadly, it doesn't. I did say there was a bunker in one of them, though. One of them has a bunker. Like a prepper bunker. They even have, like, guns and stuff that you can put in there. You can, like, fill your bunker with, like, all your prepping stuff and guns and everything for these, if there's a zombie apocalypse. Be prepared for the invasion of the zombies. You know, that's what a lot of preppers say, like, or like a government takeover where they just decide they're gonna take over. I don't even know, like, I used to watch those prepper shows that were like on, were they on TLC or whatever? Back in the day, they would have those families on and they were just like, oh, today we're gonna prep, and, yeah, I remember those shows. And they would do, like, those people were a bunker full of guns and clowns. What could go wrong? I don't know. No, those preppers that would, like, they would run drills with their families and stuff because they thought, like, the end of the world was coming and the government was, like, gonna start controlling everything and they were gonna have to go into hiding, and oh my gosh. I remember when that show was on. Back in the day. It makes me feel... It's funny, it makes me feel old when I'm like, oh, back in the day, but it was really like... Probably not that long ago. Prepper Nation. Is that the one? I don't remember which one I used to watch. But yeah, they would go to, like, extremes. I remember, like, they were showing... This one guy was, like, showing his bunker... and just, like, he opened up, like, a secret room he had in his house, and it was just full of, like, guns, and I'm just like, oh my god, like, that is scary, man. The craziness of people when they think, you know, the end of the world is coming, or something could go wrong at any second, and they have to be prepared, like... People can get insane with that stuff, and you're just like, what is happening? Like, why in the world do you think that this is going to... Like, you're gonna have all these crazy things happen, and you're gonna need a bunker to go down into and, like, protect yourself. I get, like, the rich people, like, having bunkers for, like, if there's a nuclear attack, because that makes sense. But when it comes to people who are just like, oh, we need to run these drills every day and we need to be prepared for when craziness happens and, like, people can't find food and they have to, like, they're like, come after my house and my food and my kids, and it's crazy. Five items every prepper should have. I might have to do a prepper thing now, because now I'm like, well, not today, but I used to love that stuff. The clown apocalypse. Clownpocalypse. Oh, God. No, thank you. I would definitely go down in a bunker for that, because I don't want a bunch of clowns running around. No, thank you. My kids have been watching, like, YouTubers play pranks on each other, and I don't know what it is, but all of, like, the young, like, teenagers and, like, young adult people on YouTube right now are all doing, like, clown stuff. And my kids think it's hilarious. Like, they watch it, and, like, they had one where, like, they played hide and seek, and they had, like, a bunch of people dressed up like demon clowns, and, there was one dressed up like Jigsaw, and there was one dressed up like Pennywise, and my kids were just like, this is awesome, like, these people are being chased around their house by clowns, and I'm just like, you guys are so freaking young. Like, why do you think this is cool? But watch, they're gonna love those, like, horror movies with clowns in them when they're teenagers, because they're already, like, okay with that stuff on YouTube. I don't know. We'll see. I feel like kids are way more desensitized today from, like, that kind of stuff, though, too. Your kids have awesome taste. Oh my god. I don't get it. They're odd. But I didn't even know they knew who Pennywise was. And, like, they watched a video the other day, and my son is like, oh yeah, there's Pennywise. And I was like, how do you know who Pennywise is? And he's like, oh yeah, we talk about it at school all the time. And I'm like, you're in 3rd grade. Who in the world in 3rd grade is watching it? Like, what is happening? So apparently they talk about stuff in school that I don't even realize. Like, and my kids know a lot more about culture than I do, which is funny because I feel like I didn't know that much when I was in 3rd grade, but I don't know, maybe it's just, like I said, I think kids are just more desensitized today. We'll see. They do love my clown doll, though. Like, they've been stealing it and playing with it because they think it's cool. And I'm just like, Pennywise was their 2nd grade teacher. Oh god. Yeah, it was weird because I was just like, what is happening? And, like, it's funny because they came in my, like, office, and one of them found the clown doll, and they're like, what's this? And I was like, oh, one of, like, my subscribers sent that to me. So we need to send you more clowns. Oh god, no thank you. But I was like, yeah, one of my subscribers sent that to me, and, like, I put it on some of my live streams because it was funny, and they know I hate clowns. Like, I'm not into clown stuff at all. And they thought it was hilarious, and send her all the clowns. Oh no. But yeah, so my clown doll keeps disappearing out of my office now because I'll put her back in here, and then my kids will come in and play with her, and she'll disappear for a while. And then I'll probably find her somewhere else in the house, and I'll be like, what in the world just happened? Like, so yeah, clown shopping in the future. Yeah, so yeah, they've been playing with it, and I keep telling them, like, don't play with that, like, keep it in my office so I can have it for, like, my live streams if I want to. And they're just like, meh. So now she's just gonna be popping up all over my house because my kids are gonna just put her wherever when they're here and just watch me open a cabinet or something one day and it fall on me. Like, that's the kind of crap they would do. And since they're watching all those YouTubers and, like, all the pranks they do, like, I'm shocked they haven't started, like, doing pranks on me, because, like, that's all they did today is, like, play Minecraft and watch people play pranks on each other. Play with the clowns. All you want, kids. Wait for the sprout. But I tried to have a chill day because my son yesterday, like, fell down and, like, cut his knee real deep, and we had to go to the doctor, and, like, he hurt it really bad. They had to, like, glue it back together and stuff. So I was like telling him, like, we need to take it easy today because he's not supposed to, like, run and stuff for a couple weeks because it got cut and it has to heal. So I was trying to get him to, like, you know, it's not easy to get kids to sit down. Like, even if they're hurt, like, they don't want to have to sit all day. But I was like, you know, play Minecraft, watch some YouTube, try not to run around. And that's hard for kids. Like, they want to run around. That's what they do. But yeah. So that was most of my days, trying to get my kids not to do that. And then I had my live stream. And then I did all that all day and cleaned my house, and by the time I did all that, think about the clowns. By the time I did all that, like, I was like, I don't want to cook dinner. So I just ended up ordering Domino's for dinner because I'm like, meh, I'm just going to have pizza. So I did that, and then they had to go because it's Dad's night with them, so they had to go to Dad's house for the night. So I won't see them again until Tuesday. So I get the next at least 2 days, well, almost 3 days, because I won't pick them up till Tuesday night. So the next 3 days, and the next 2 days, like, I have nothing planned because it's Monday's a holiday, so there's no school, and like tomorrow's Sunday, so I have the next 2 days of just doing whatever I want. So I might stream some more tomorrow and Monday and do some of the other stuff I need to do. I have a bunch of training videos that I'm supposed to watch by the end of this month for my job, so I might have to sit down and do some of those. I don't know, see if I might work a little more this week. I haven't been like doing any of my extra jobs since I have this job now, but rotisserie clown, a healthy dinner. Just trying to figure out, but I mean, the job I have is honestly, like, I think working for the school is the best thing I can do right now, because they, like, you get benefits and stuff even if you just work part-time, so that's pretty cool. And you get all holidays, and you get all the days off the kids get. Regular or extra crispy clowns? Extra creepy clowns. Oh god. So many clowns. No thank you. I think that's my biggest thing about, like, haunted attractions is, like, I'd be fine with everything else, but I don't do clowns. I don't like them. Not a fan. Anyways, thank you all for coming today. It was fun to stream. I need to stream more. I'll probably stream more tomorrow. 3 pieces of extra creepy and a biscuit. Yeah. Thank you for following PBJ Sandwich. Yeah, so thanks for everyone who came today and watched about the music stuff, and thank you to my awesome patrons, because you guys give me the ability to keep doing this and keep trucking. If you guys haven't checked out my YouTube channel, Overprotected Atheist on YouTube, if you missed my 1-year anniversary stream on YouTube, it was on Atheist Jake's channel, Jake the Atheist channel. I said that wrong. Jake the Atheist channel. So look up Jake the Atheist on YouTube if you missed our 1-year anniversary of YouTube, since we both started on January 15th last year, and it's a good time. We just talked about our first years and, you know, the things that we both had learned, and, you know, what we want to do with our channels in the future. So yeah, if there's any other today the Sprout arrived. We await the Funko and Mod. Oh goodness. If you guys want to follow any of my socials, they're all on my, I think they're all on my, I have a link tree, by the way, if anybody wants to find me on a link tree. It has all my stuff on it, but I do have an Instagram, Overprotected Atheist, Facebook, Overprotected Atheist. I have my website, overprotectedatheist.com, which has all of my stuff on there, and if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's OP_atheist. Thank you everyone who came today. I will be back on tomorrow. I think tomorrow we might do some house flipping, so, because everybody was talking about seeing me flip houses, so maybe tomorrow we'll do a house flipping stream so everybody can see. Yay. Yeah, thank you all. Have a good night, and I will hopefully see you all tomorrow. And if not, have a good weekend, and I'll see you at some point this week. Bye, friends.